Breaking news, everybody. You've seen it by now. As of 15 minutes ago, it's over. It's finally over. Andersson dealt all of a sudden Sunday afternoon, chilling, watching football, and Andersson is now heading to the Vegas Golden Knights. Myself alongside Neil Villapiano here. Let's just break down what we see on the screen real quick. So Andersson has finally been dealt. It is to the Vegas Golden Knights. They get 50% retained in return. It is Zach Whitecloud. It is a 2027 first-round pick. They also get a 2027 second-round pick. It does become a first if Vegas wins the Cup this year. It's a first in a future first-round pick, whether it be 2028 or so on. And prospect Abram Weeb. He's a defenseman at UND, at the University of Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I believe, is UND, correct?
Yes, University.
Yeah, okay.
Oh no, that might be North Dakota actually.
Oh, sorry, North Dakota. Thank you.
ND, just ND is Notre Dame. Yeah, this is University of North Dakota.
North Dakota. Thank you.
Those two.
So real quick before we get our reactions again, 29-year-old has recorded 30 points so far this year in 48 games for the Flames. He's averaging a career high 24 and 14 per contest. It's his fifth straight campaign, averaging at least 22 minutes per game. The Bruins and Leafs apparently were reportedly interested. There is no extension as of right now on the table, which is why there's a lot of picks going this way in the first place. So, Neil, I'll get your reaction first.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
Should also mention, I want to give some information about Zach Whitecloud. He is under contract until the end of the 27-28 season at only a $2.75 million cap hit. So actually, that's not – I thought it was more than that for some reason. He is 29 years of age. So should just mention that. First and foremost, I have to be honest with you, Kyle. After the last game that the Flames had against the New York Islanders, you could tell.
Oh, it was over. We knew that.
Andersson knew he was getting dealt. I think that the deal was in place yesterday. I think that was pretty much what was going on. And I think he knew that it wasn't a matter of, it was just only a matter of time. So it happens today. I'm disappointed because did it really have to be Vegas? Like, did we really,
They don't care. Listen, this is exactly what we've seen other teams do around North America here, right? Look at the LA Rams. They did whatever it took and they didn't care about the picks, right?
Yeah.
And like my grudge here is the fact that you're trading to a division rival that he's going to be like, there's still a possibility, even though there's no extension today, doesn't mean they're not going to have time to make one.
Oh,
you're going to have time. Bro, you're going to have 8 years where all of a sudden you dealt Hanifin and Andersson there, and this is what you get? They don't care about the draft picks. We've established this for years.
Yeah.
And we were saying this months ago that they don't care about their draft picks. So, Whitecloud coming back is like, okay, like, all right, he can help on the bottom four, sure. And the first-round picks and second-round picks, however you want to look at it, they don't mean anything to me. Because this is a team that's going to do whatever it takes to continue to contest in the playoffs, whatever it may be. Like, they're not going to all of a sudden fall off. And if they do ever have one bad year, God forbid that happens coming up, well, then you have to kind of luck out on it almost.
Sure.
Because these guys won't sit at the bottom forever. This is what Vegas does. Vegas doesn't have time for a rebuild where they are.
Yeah.
So, and I guess what I was doing some quick reading on was this Abram Weeb kid, who I guess is pretty underrated. I guess. Maybe. I don't know. The reports that went out. Well, so the reports that went out yesterday, I thought were bullshit in the first place because they're not coming from reliable sources about it being Boston and him not wanting to extend. That I believe was true.
That threw me off so much because I'm like, Boston, really? And I was like, and if that was true, I would have been much more okay with trading with Boston.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
and what was on the table, I guess, was a first Poitras and Lohrei, I believe.
Yeah, Mason Lohrei, which I would have been so excited to get.
But
Mason
they're helping
Lohrei.
them out here, and it's also.
I agree. Yes.
Vegas isn't done yet.
Yeah. So to talk a little bit about Adam Weeb, Is that right? Adam Weeb?
Or,
Yeah.
Abram
Weeb,
Weeb.
excuse me. 2022 7th round pick from Vegas. This past year, currently this year, with the University of North Dakota, 24 games, 3 goals, 11 points. 11 assists, 14 points. He's the alternate captain for them. This is his 3rd year at the University of North Dakota. So I think it's likely that for at least Calgary, he would probably be with at least the Wranglers some point.
7th round pick.
But all in
7th
all,
round pick.
all in all, what I will just react to is that at the end of the day, you really, as Kyle mentioned, you are essentially helping a division rival who doesn't obviously care about the future of the team. They want to win now. And you trade him to the one team that we had said for months was not a good idea from the Flames' perspective, because we knew that the Flames weren't going to get any sort of a good deal unless there was an extension. Like you and I had just been talking about before we jumped on here. If there's an extension in place, Deforiev better be on.
That was our first name. The only
right.
way I would that was what I literally texted you before we jumped on, is Dorofeyev better be on here. And the fact that he isn't pisses me off. But here's the stupid thing.
And the other thing I'll just say is that the reason that Vegas also was very willing to do this was just simply that Alex Pietrangelo probably won't be playing in the NHL again. And
is that what they're saying? I just thought he was out.
That's the impression that I'm getting, because anytime somebody's asked about the status of Pietrangelo, it's like it reminds me a little bit of like Landeskog with Colorado, like a little bit, where like for a long time we just hear nothing. We don't even you forget he's even on the team and they're talking about like it might be career ending because his apparent rehab hasn't been going well. So
anyway,
the rich get richer, I guess is the best way to put this.
The stupid thing is that like if you did this with a Carolina or even Boston, right, where we talked, where I guess it was brought up where there was the first, it was Poitras, Lori, whatever, fine. I don't have a problem with this. If it looked exactly like this coming from an Eastern Conference team, I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. But the fact that you now have to potentially deal with this for the next 8 years, potentially. He might resign. It was one of his preferred destinations, if I'm not mistaken.
It was, from what I understand, it was his top destination. I think that's exactly what is going on here.
I don't like, is it okay? Ultimately, in terms of the draft picks, like the silly thing is that they have to win this year. And it's like, okay, good luck getting by Colorado, Dallas, or Minnesota. Probably not. I'm not envisioning that happening. But can they? That's the thing. Can they get through their own division here in the playoffs? Sure. But it just bothers me because, like, this is basically like this is the second time where, again, Vegas relished from the Hanifin trade. Miramanov is nowhere to be seen.
For sure.
And the draft pick that you had is whoever. Don't even know who he is at this point.
Yep.
So I think we're going to find out in time what these picks are going to evidently be. And I'm not really shitting on Whitecloud here. I think he's a good complementary bottom 2 piece, however you want to look at it, like 5'6" defenseman. He's a right shot guy. I mean, I would assume he probably fills in that third pairing slot. That's just my guess. So I don't necessarily, I'm not shitting on Whitecloud here. I'm just shitting on the fact that Vegas goes, okay, we'll take 50% retention, even though he's already at $4.5 million, like he needed a retention in the first place. And the biggest thing is just you're helping these guys again.
Yep.
Again. Send him out east. Listen, if you send him out east and he signs in the offseason with Vegas, totally different story because it's his decision. But
it's out of Calgary's control. Yeah.
It's out of our control. Fair enough. He might, and listen. It's all speculative because we don't know if he's going to sign an extension. It's all of our hands. We don't know. We don't know, right? It's a possibility that he does.
Oh,
wouldn't 1, shock me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't shock me if he does.
I think there's at least this like 85% chance that it happens.
It's 100% up there. But that's the thing. That's the biggest difference is that if you send him to an Eastern team and you get a first round pick and a pro, like, didn't they want a first round pick and a prospect anyway?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
okay, so for White Cloud, he has how many years left on his contract?
He
Like
has
2?
2 years. Yeah, he has the rest of this year. He's under contract for 26, 27, and then he's under contract for 27, 28. I will just say this really quickly, Kyle. I mean, granted, the Flames, it was never going to be about a cap space situation. Like, I'm fine with him at 2.5 million playing on the bottom four.
It's not
Um,
even about that.
I'm
It's
calling it
not
right
even
now.
about
I'm
that.
gonna call it. I'm gonna call it right now. If he plays tomorrow against New Jersey, he's scoring.
Yeah.
Just because it would be hilarious. I'm calling it right now. I'm just gonna say
Like,
that.
I'm not convinced White Cloud resigns in 2
Yeah.
years.
We actually have
I'm not
comments
really
today, Kyle,
convinced.
by the way. We actually have people in the stream commenting today. If you can believe that.
It's just I don't
Yeah,
get it.
there it
What
is.
should we expect from Rasmus this year? So I guess what you can expect is that it's probably one of his better years of his career in terms of offensive production here in his points. I think I read off that what was it? I think he's at 30 points if I'm not mistaken already. So, you know, you're replacing Pietrangelo, but you're just getting more of an offensive threat, right? In terms of his defensive production there. Yeah, I don't think it's been great because when we watched him here in Calgary, he was usually paired up with Kevin Ball most of the time,
Right.
and you kind of let Ball play that defensive style where Anderson can kind of be free and go do whatever. So he's having a great year in terms of offensive production, and that's the kind of
Right.
stuff that you're going to end up getting here.
Yep.
Dodgers of hockey, God, Vegas is stacked.
Well, I mean, that's
And they
accurate.
always will be. And they always will be. They don't
Yeah.
care about, they will never care about their draft picks.
Nope.
They don't care. They
Nope.
do not care about their draft picks. They don't have time to wait because they need to satisfy the market now and always. Always. And a guy who plays lots of minutes, PK, can play power play, blocks lots of shots. He is a good locker room guy. And like yeah, I was sad to see him go, but he deserves the right to have a say not only in free agency, but also to go chase something. Because you know, we had, I think, 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, where there was competitive playoff hockey. Right. And he's kind of gone through that. And I don't really blame him. And I don't blame him if he signs an extension here.
No, I mean, it's Vegas. And at the end of the day, these guys are going to go and they're going to get their money and they're going to get the opportunity to play in the Sin City. I mean, there's a lot of pluses to this. I look at this deal very similarly to when New Jersey traded for Timo Meier back in 23, where it just feels like that the Flames chose quantity over quality in a deal. It felt like that they were happy to get a bunch of different assets and kind of go from there. One thing that I am kind of curious about, Kyle, is that with Zach Whitecloud now approaching his 30s, I wonder if the Flames see him as a guy that like will be on this team, or will they move him again to a different team to try to get even more assets? Like I don't know if that's I don't know if he's exactly the kind of guy that the Flames would necessarily want in terms of trying to continue to rebuild, because we've mentioned about the young guys that we have in the farm system that in the next year or two need an opportunity to play.
They need to play, and I mean, it's been nice seeing what with in the NCAA, Ethan Whitenbach, who we just picked in the draft this year, has been sensational. So the only good news, and to refresh here, we have their pick this year. We're going to have their pick next year, and we're going to have their second round pick as well too. So yes, there's a silver lining, but you better hit on those picks.
You better.
Right? And I think like maybe it was an overreaction, but like, yes, there's always the possibility that Vegas can stumble 1 year. Right? Injuries have been a problem, but right. And you know what's funny is too, like when you look at where they are in the standings and their record, it kind of shocks me because they're pretty much a 500 team, and if you look at it, right? Like you look at it in the sense that they're 24, 11, and 12.
Yeah. And
right.
their
Being
goaltending has been suspect. I'm surprised. I mean, granted, there's still
a lot of hockey to be played here. But and you know, you're in a division here, I think Neil was cut out here, where okay, it's gonna come down to Vegas and Edmonton again.
Yeah,
in
pretty much.
the second round, more than likely here.
More than
Um,
likely.
I just I don't like helping out your division rival here. I just don't. I think it's pretty pathetic, to be honest. Again.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, if they had gotten, Deforiev and also these picks, I think I would be more accepting of it and be like,
sure.
okay, like we get,
Now,
you know,
yeah.
but the thing is that I just wonder what other offers were out there. We're never going to know, but I just would like to know what else was on the table.
I believe that Boston offer. I believe it.
You
I believe
believe
it
it
was a
was
first. I
legit.
I believe it was a first. Matthew Poitras and Lori. I think I believe that. Yeah.
Now, do you wonder, then now, this is something I'm thinking about also. I wonder if the Flames front office, Craig Conroy and co., really just wanted to do right by Anderson and basically trade him to where he wanted to go, as opposed to just being cutthroat and saying, we don't care about where you want to go. We're going to send you to the team that gives us the best offer on the table.
I guess
Because
maybe.
that's the only way, Kyle. I honestly think that this deal happened.
So the only, and I think, to look on the bright side a little bit, okay? You wonder what this could have been like last year, right? Where if you moved him last year, what does it look like? I think it helps. What, like, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but you can kind of look at it in a way here, in a sense that if all it took was Vegas to go, if you do 50% retention, we'll throw in a 2027 second round pick, and then there was the contingency on top of that.
Right.
Fair. I don't want that contingency to happen. Right?
Yeah.
I
We
don't I
don't.
don't want to
No, you
see it
don't. You
happen.
don't
You
want
don't
that.
want to see that happen. So I think,
Is that
like,
it? Is By the way, is that for if Vegas wins the cup? Oh, it says this year. Yeah, I don't know
yeah,
why I
this
believe
year.
that corrected.
This
This
year.
year. Okay.
So
Yep.
on the bright side is, it could have been worse, in the sense that Anderson might not have had a good year. The year that he had last year is not even resembling, is not in the same realm as what we're seeing this year, right?
Right.
And typically I find, and I don't know about you, but it's a rare breed with long-term offensive defensemen. And I think the one here that sticks out in mind is like an Eric Carlson, right?
Right. Right.
If you're thinking long term, right? So I
Sure.
guess, and the only saving grace here is that because of his play, this is the type of return that they were able to get. They were able to get a first round pick. They were able to get a second round pick,
Yeah.
which is going to kind of fall fairly later there in the draft. I don't know. Like, you could always, I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
there's, I think there's more to
I think
come.
you could have done better. I still think that there's a world where you could have done better.
Listen, I think you could have done better. You could have done a whole lot worse too. And meaning by that is that he could have had a bad year, and you don't get first round picks out of him. You don't get a right now player in Zach Whitecloud. You get like a second round pick and Arbram Weeb.
Yeah.
So in time, it could have been worse. I think I look at it like, if this was an Eastern Conference team, I would have loved it.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
the fact that you've given Vegas even more incentive to sign him long term, which I
Sure.
hate.
Yeah.
And you're helping them right now.
You're like, it's like the old saying goes, right? The rich get richer kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I think what also this does, Kyle, and just in general, is I think it just puts more of an emphasis on teams to make deals now before the Olympic break, instead of waiting for the deadline, because now they see that Vegas once again getting one of the top guys on the market, at least until now.
Which is
Um,
this week, by the way, the Olympic break, the
it is
freeze, correct?
uh no, I think it's next week.
Next week.
I
Next
think
week.
it's
Next
next
week. I
week.
think you're
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Next week.
it's
Anyway.
next week. Um, So it's really going to be interesting to see what teams pivot to something else. There are other names that come out, not just in terms of defensemen, but like forwards, goaltending to a little bit. The one thing that I fear more than anything from just looking at Vegas is that if they go out and decide they want to improve their goaltending, right, because of
Mhm.
injuries to Aiden Hill and the inconsistency to an
And they
extent.
will 100%. They're not done. They are
Don't
not
don't
even
be
close to
surprised if
being done.
Jordan Binnington is a Vegas Golden Knight in a couple weeks.
Or whatever it might be. Maybe they shock the world again, like how they grabbed Hurdle and all that crap, right?
Maybe
So
they get Jordan Kyrou because they can
who
buy
knows?
well.
Who knows?
So it is what it is. From the Flames' perspective, at this point, it's like, okay, one good news: the Anderson saga is over. We don't got to worry about it. We don't got to talk about him.
Let's talk about it anymore. Thank
We
God.
don't
A
have to,
headache.
right?
A
And now we can
headache
look forward
now.
and say, okay, so we get a first, which is good. I think we needed to get a first regardless.
You know what this tells me, though? You know what this tells me?
Go ahead.
You got to trade Kadri. Look at the
And
the
Coleman.
fact that I
I
think
think you got to
even
trade Coleman too. I think, Kyle, honestly.
1,000%. Coleman's got to go. Yeah. Oh,
But I
yeah.
think Kadri, yeah.
Again, the silver lining here is that the return is not awful. Like, it could be worse. Like, it is pretty decent. The fact that you're stockpiling more draft picks, great. Still don't love the team, but this is Anderson, who's had a pretty decent year on a $4.5 million end of year contract.
Yep.
So
You're absolutely right.
return that you can get if you trade Kadri now. You want to reestablish the culture here a little bit with the locker room. Anderson was one of the leaders in the locker room, and now he's gone. So now you've got to tear it down.
There is an update to the trade.
Okay.
Got wrong. That Friedman got wrong.
Oh,
It is not a conditional 2027. It's a 2028. So it goes back to 2 years from now, as opposed to 2027.
and Freach just said that?
Well, Bleacher Report just put it on their Twitter. I'll go to Freege's account. Let me see if he updated it. No, Freege still says it's 2027. I think maybe I think Bleacher Report just messed up on their end. So
I'll bring up what Freege said here in his latest. I think it was Darren Dreger, though, actually, who's the one that broke it.
I think Dreger was the one that
Dreger was definitely the one that broke it. Let me just pull up the updated Freege quote here on Twitter. So here's what he said. So he goes, there's no extension for Anderson as part of this deal. The chances of him going to Boston ended without an extension. Vegas was always willing to take the chance that they could eventually sign him. Exactly like we talked about.
Right. Yep.
So that's again, I think in conclusion, I don't mind the return. I don't hate it. What Dreger, we hate is the fact that you go ahead. Yeah.
Dreger updated it. Sorry. He said Anderson to Vegas in exchange for Zach Whitecloud, first in 2027, top 10 protected, second in 2028. That becomes a first if Vegas wins the cup this season. And University of North Dakota D-man Abram Weeb also moved to the Flames.
Okay. So that's official.
Kind of confusing because Freed's saying one thing about it and then.
Yeah, I think Dreger broke it though. So here's Dreger with the funny meme.
I love how there are people on both sides of it. Yeah, I literally just saw that video myself. It's weird though, if you look in that comment section of that tweet, Kyle, is like the amount of people that are saying either that Vegas or Calgary got fleeced. And I'm like, so which one is it? What is the consensus?
So who was it? Who was it?
And I hate to say it, it does feel a lot like the Noah Hannafin trade. Same kind of vibe where it's like,
yes and no. I kind of disagree on that because the main part of the return from Hannafin was Miromanov.
True.
Right? True. It was Miromanov. So the fact that I don't get the same sort of vibes because of the picks that you're getting back in return here, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So why is the problem helping out division rival? By the time the Flames are competitive, he will be old. That's why we traded him.
Yeah, but the thing about it that you have to understand, Taryn Boot, is just the fact that Vegas has never believed in said rebuild. They've always believed in constantly going out and getting the best players available to go win the cup. So until we get to a point where everything really falls apart, why help them? Especially if you had a better offer from, let's say, Boston reportedly. Why just send him to Vegas? Why? Unless you're trying to be nice to Anderson.
Yeah.
You know
what we become? Vegas's farm team.
Yep.
Basically. That's what you're telling them on a business deal. They go, oh, perfect. We'll take him. You gave us Hanifin. Okay, cool. We'll take Anderson.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I don't know. I
don't really get.
I think again, the return I'm happy with. I think it's fine. It's just the team aspect of it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think just seeing the amount though that you can get back here, just get Calgary out of here, man. Think of the return that you can get for him.
Yep.
Like, that's the thing. Okay, fine. You want to stockpile some of these picks now? Like, all right, let's embrace it here. Let's go.
Yeah. But the thing is, the thing for Calgary is going to come down to this. You better hit on the picks that you get.
That's the whole thing.
Because if you don't, then then Vegas is just going to continue to laugh their way to the bank. Like, you know, and that's what you don't want. And I'm wondering, Kyle, if Craig Conroy will speak tonight or tomorrow, you know, on this. I'm sure he will at some point.
He probably, I mean, considering it's only in the afternoon here in Calgary, he'll probably speak about it today. I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
Probably.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's clear. I think two things come away from this. It's also 2 weeks before the Olympic freeze, right? Sure. I actually don't hate the return, hate the team that you're dealing it to, because you're only helping them. And you're right. Like, you hit the nail on the head here. It's going to come down to, what do those picks look like, right? What's the first round pick look like? What does the second round pick look like that are, you know, evidently going to be in the 20s, 30s? They are. Like, they just are. Yeah. They're going to be in the 20s and 30s. Like, you have to accept that. So and I think, but here's the thing. It's also going to be contingent on, if Vegas doesn't sign him, then it's huge.
Right.
So this trade's not done yet, too. I think I think even more than, you have to wait. Because if he doesn't extend, and if he waits and he doesn't extend, then this is a huge win.
Yeah. Especially given the amount of people, Kyle, that have come off of that list of available free agents this offseason. Think about the amount of guys, and think about where Andersson will probably be if he doesn't extend and decides to go into the open market. If he goes anywhere but Vegas, that I think, honestly, I would be very much like celebrating.
And I like Zach Whitecloud as a player.
Right.
I like his play style. I really like, he is one of those guys I kind of always viewed as that right shot defenseman there, and maybe in that 5-6 slot.
Yeah.
I always viewed him as, yep, that's a great guy to have in those slots. You just are who you are, right? But I really like him in those slots. So even more, we talk about like the first and the second round pick, yada yada here. I think we're just gonna have to watch. Now you gotta wait. You gotta wait and see if he extends, because if he doesn't extend, then this is great.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest deal. And then I think, again, like you mentioned here, 2 weeks before we go until the Olympic break, you know, we're gonna find out whether or not Calgary or Coleman's got to go, man. That's such a high value.
This has to be a sign, right? Like, this has to be a statement from the front office that, like, we're still gonna go ahead and do what is necessary to move guys that have that value, because at the ultimate, you know, we're thinking long term as opposed to.
And if you want to look on the bright side again, Parek's now going to slot in very nicely.
Oh yeah.
Andersson being gone, and now all of a sudden you can bring Parek up, and you're going to get him some meaningful time here in the last 4 months here.
Yep.
So, like, that's good to see there. I mean, I think there was definitely an overreaction when we first jumped on.
Sure.
But I just think that, like the return, hate the team. We got to wait and see what happens with the extension.
Yeah.
So, let's call it there. We'll be back tomorrow, though, with a full episode. Just wanted to quickly break this down for you guys real quick. Thank you guys for jumping on. Any final thoughts before we jump off?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, this is just, you know, this is Calgary basically saying, like, look, this was going to happen. The inevitable happened, that it had to be Vegas. We'd heard it even from the off season. And now it's done. We have what we have. And now the best thing that we can do is just move forward. I think that's the
That's all
only
you
way
can
that you're
do.
going to go about it. So
It's one
we'll talk
domino in
about,
the right.
yeah,
Go ahead.
we'll talk a little bit about it tomorrow. And then we'll preview
We'll sit back and we'll read and
we'll
we'll really
we'll
dissect
think
it.
about it, right?
Yeah, we'll
We'll think
think about
more.
it more. We'll think about it more. Real quick, Rams or Bears? Who do you got?
I am going to go with the Bears tonight. I think that
Oh,
playing in
motherfucker!
Chicago, that weather, I think it's snowing.
It's
I hope.
bad right now. It's
Is it?
bad. It's really
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
I just don't know if the Rams like passing game is going to be as effective as it normally is. But I'll tell you this, Kyle. I don't think it matters because I think with the way the Seahawks played last night, it's going to be. I mean, that was the most boring game of the entire playoffs.
Just
That's
beat
pretty
the
bad.
living shit out of them.
I mean, what? Kickoff return for a touchdown to start the game. Game was over right then and there. Game
Pretty
was
much.
done. So,
Pretty much.
but no, should be a good one. Still a little bit disappointed with the way the Bills went out last night, but what are you gonna do? And
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
We'll talk about that tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, enjoy the game tonight. I'm sure going to be watching it because I want to know. So
maybe there's another trade on the way, Kyle. It's only 6:30.
It's only 6:30.
It's only 6:30. Let's see what happens.
You bet. More to come tomorrow. We'll get a full show in tomorrow with much more news and details. And I'm sure we'll hear from Craig Conroy and the rest of the company. So there you go, guys. Rasmus Andersson now traded to the Vegas Golden Knights. White Cloud and picks returned. And this is the first of many dominoes to fall. Have a good night. We'll see you all tomorrow.